Welcome back to Artificial Antics, where Rico and Mike will talk about the implications and opportunities around artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. For this episode, shining a light on Helios, Dave George's take on engagement as a service, the guys welcome back Dave George to discuss his latest omnichannel product, which is transforming customer engagement with cutting-edge AI-driven solutions.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Artificial Antics. Today we're actually joined by Dave George, who's been on the show. He's a friend of the show, and we're going to be talking to him today about Helios, which is a new product that him and his team have released. Rico, you want to say hi to the folks today?
Sure. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're glad to have Dave George back on the show. Dave, I want to congratulate you on the new company, the new product, and without further ado, why don't you tell us what you have going on?
Sure. So, for those that don't know who I am, or perhaps missed episode 10, the show that I was on back on, I think in March. So 6 months ago already, if not more. Yep. Dave George, I am probably a rarity in that I am a true fourth generation telco person where, my great grandfather started in ILEC in Pennsylvania in 1909. And that company is still going strong and is continuing to provide next generation services. So while I'm not affiliated with that organization anymore, it's still in the family, still going strong. And that's sort of where I first got the DNA, if you will, of telecommunications. And then as I moved on, and for about a good 6.5 years, I was the SVP and GM of Net Sapiens, now a Crescendo company. Some of your audience that is offering UC services certainly knows the Net Sapiens platform. And then several years ago, I started a company called P2P. And P2P was basically forked into two organizations. One was what I'll call a tech support concept, where we were helping organizations that had a platform where we could provide that tier 3, tier 4 level software development, project management services to those organizations to help them differentiate their product set to make them be successful in the marketplace. And then P2P Labs initially was just small software packages, just little things to sort of help the ecosystem. And then about a year ago, we started developing in partnership with a company in the Far East, in Asia Pac. We developed a product called HELIOS. And that is a very robust omnichannel solution. So for the audience, omnichannel, every single type of digital channel you can think of for communication. So not just voice, not just text messaging, but also instant messaging, web chat, email, Telegram, whatever, WhatsApp, all those types of solutions are considered a digital channel. And so we designed this product, and then we looked at it and said, what audience is being underserved? And we realized that a lot of the competition for us was focused on enterprise, right? They wanted to do a full contact center, very rich, very big, very heavy. And, we looked at the audience and said, well, they're not talking to the SMB space who doesn't want to run their operation like a giant call center. They don't want to have their employees plugged in and stuck at a desk. They don't want to follow scripts. They want to differentiate. Most small and medium businesses do a great job of support. So it wasn't about a contact center for support. It was about customer engagement and empowerment, because the SMB wants to be forward thinking. They want to be aggressive. They don't just want to keep up. They don't just want to survive. They want to thrive. And the way to do that would be have these tools. So we really got laser focused on what we decided to build with Helios. And that's why I think we're having this call today. We've definitely listened to the audience, and we've added some different layers of AI, which I think we'll get to in a few minutes. Got a whole new bunch of features and functions that are now available, and a few that are going to be coming in the next few weeks. So, very excited about where Helios has gone just since we launched it end of April.
That's awesome. Well, I was just thinking, Dave, so let's take people back to kind of one of the subjects we were talking about on that last episode was, the good, the bad, and the ugly, some of the things that, CEOs are thinking about that you're talking about. Because I'm telling you, man, I feel like there's so many conversations being had in the industry right now about AI and how people can use it, and, maybe some of the stuff that some of the fears around it too, right? Or, just that really it's a lot of it is just a lack of awareness. What's some of the feedback first, and then from what you're hearing in the industry, and then also like what type of opportunities do you think lie out there?
Depending on what part of the unified communications segment we're talking about, there'll be some different things that I see people doing, whether it's IoT, whether it's managing, SIM cards through an AI agent for an MVNO. So, everyone's using AI a little differently. And I personally have been really enjoying attending a lot of these different seminars and webinars and so forth to really get a good understanding of the marketplace. We decided to, again, look at the SMB, and we decided to look at it through the service provider's eyes. So we don't sell our product directly to an end customer. We sell through service providers. And when I say service provider for your audience, I'm talking about your managed service provider. That's your IT shop, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about communication service providers. That's more of your traditional phone company. I guess you could even bundle into that like an ILEC, a CLEC, an ITSP. And then, of course, you have other service providers like MSOs or cable companies, if you will. But when you look at the gamut of service providers, there's quite a few of them that they needed a product that kind of aligned with their current customer base. So the problem was we looked at the contact center offerings that were out there, and they were all designed with this idea of getting as large of a contact center as possible. And I get it, right? Everyone wants to hear about that large whale, you know.
Right.
But the problem with that is a lot of these organizations, a lot of these smaller service providers, I mean, the average MSP, it may have, less than 20 employees. So they're not geared up to go after a full contact center necessarily.
Right.
Yep.
And so you're trying to sell a product that was designed to be this tractor trailer, but you've been selling cars all along. And we said, instead of trying to sell tractor trailers when you've been selling cars all along, why not sell a supercharger or a turbocharger on that car you've been selling all along, and basically enhancing that car and making it a race car or making it higher performance. Does that make sense? Like as an analogy?
It makes total sense. Yes.
And what's funny about this is it really kind of fits with our DNA, because when people say to me, how do you describe your company as simply as possible? I say, well, I'm going to borrow someone else who's really famous. We are the Carroll Shelby to Ford. Or if you prefer German cars, we'd like to be AMG to Mercedes.
Gotcha.
So we want to be that specialty. We want to be that company that finds the diamond in the rough, the niche, if you will. And so, and so that, again, and the reason I keep pointing out to that focus is when you really understand who you're trying to help, you understand the pain points that they're experiencing, and then you deliver the product to them that they're looking for, and you use their feedback. So all of our early adopters, whether they were service providers or the customers of that service provider, we now have that feedback. Yeah. So then to answer your question, Mike, about AI specific to Helios, and then we'll come back to some of the other stuff that you're asking. We have 3 levels or layers of AI to kind of provide that comfort level that a lot of your smaller and medium businesses might be afraid of, right? Because they don't understand it yet, right? They've heard of it. They might even want to invest in it, but they don't necessarily understand all the gotchas. So we've provided a product where they don't have to worry about the gotchas. So our product has 3 levels. It has AI Copilot, AI Assist, and AI Agent. And so let me just give you just sort of a high level of each. So AI Copilot is your AI that's sitting next to your agent, if you will, your customer service rep, your call center agent, if it is a call center. But again, it could be anyone. It could be a sales associate. It could be your business manager. It could be anyone. I want to be very clear. This is not geared for contact center. It is geared for customer engagement, regardless of what you're doing. Billing, ordering, doesn't matter. Copilot can do things like summarize your conversation. It can do expand text. It can rephrase text. It can enhance the tone. So it can actually make it sound like the tone that you're talking, so it sounds like it's you. It can translate. So if you have someone on the phone that would prefer to speak in a different language, it can do that for you in real time. It can do grammatical and spelling errors and fix them on the fly in real time. And so it kind of is, it's sort of like it's holding your hand. So you're the employee and it's there holding your hand, just helping you. So I would call that an AI tool, right? And it's a nice tool. It's like having a bag with a hammer, a saw, a circular saw, a drill, etc. All there helping you. But you're in control, meaning the employee still is engaging with it. They're still controlling that experience. Then the next level we have, I'll call it tier 2, is AI Assist. Now, AI Assist can automatically respond to the customer or the prospect's query and completely generate and write the response in real time. And all the live agent has to do is either use it or edit and use it on the fly. So that's what I call my tier 2, right?
Yeah.
And then tier 3 is my AI agent, or you could say full autonomous virtual rep, right? It's a VR. And this one here is using custom loaded data sets, custom loaded prompts. You can tune it to whatever preferences you want. It's definitely multilingual. And what's nice about this one is I don't have to have a human being there at all.
Yeah.
So now I have that whole idea of self-help at any time of the day. And a lot of small businesses aren't manned 24/7. So now you have a sense of having your shingle still out with someone at least communicating with prospects any time of the day, wherever they want to communicate, which we'll get to in a second. So that's just the AI part, right? So the AI has these 3 flavors, and all 3 of those flavors, you can even toggle on and off the ability for those 3 different layers to learn or self-improve driven by the AI. And you can toggle it on and off. Also, the customer or the service provider, depending on how you're setting this up, actually can control whether you're going to use a web page for data, internal account information, sales information. So you're controlling the data sets. So you don't have to be worried about giving away more than you want to. So what's nice about this is someone can just dip their toe with AI Copilot. It's going to help the employee. They're going to feel more empowered. They're going to be able to talk with people who maybe are speaking a different language, or maybe they're not the best at speaking, or maybe they're not the best at typing. So I was just talking to my dentist, who also loves AI, by the way, and he came to this country when he was 27 years old from Syria. So English was not his native language, though. Very smart man, fantastic dentist, oral surgeon, the whole 9. He's got his own patents and stuff. But only until AI was given to him about a year and a half ago did he publish any of his papers. But now that he has AI, he's empowered. I never saw a man, probably in his late 50s, early 60s, glowing because AI empowered him, right?
So cool.
So
that's great.
Right. So when you think about like a customer service rep and the fact that this AI tool can just make their life a little easier. It can frame things in a response intelligently without the stress of that. So then they can help process and have more empathy for the customer or the prospect. You're just building better communication channels there. And this isn't something that should be scary. This should be something that could be very well welcomed. And so we think we've listened to our customers. They didn't want a one size fits all. And they wanted to make sure they knew where the data sets were coming from. They wanted a lot of control with the prompts. We gave them that. So Mike and Rico, part of that came from my conversation with you on the show back in March was, who do you listen to? And as I think on that show, I suggested talk to your employees, right? If you want buy-in and you want to start getting things rolling with AI, talk to your employees first and see what would help them. Because if it starts benefiting them, they'll start talking about it to customers. But when we talk to so that's certainly valid. but talking to the customers as well really just gave us back the feedback and said, what do you want when it comes to AI? And we delivered. And this is also ChatGPT 3.5, 4 Turbo, 4.0, and then we have other LLMs as well, Mike, but most of our customers seem to be going with ChatGPT. So.
Yeah, I think if you're going for public LLMs, it's definitely a safe bet. I'm just gonna interject, make one quick note about that too, since I said it with public LLMs. One thing that I really like about Helios, because I've had some hands-on experience with it, is you're not tied to public LLMs, right? Verify if I believe I'm right on this, right?
You are right.
Can pretty much hook up to any webhook. You using webhooks, right? You can hook up to any AI model, right? So if you want to host your own internal data in-house and build your own models, you can absolutely do that and still use Helios.
So we designed it and developed it with the idea of using 4 LLMs as the go-to-market, right? So we had Octo AI, we had Anthropic, and we had Gemini from Google, as well as ChatGPT, of course. Right. But there's nothing that prevents you with our drag and drop zero code workflows using webhooks and other technologies that are already in Helios. So you can be an office manager who has no experience with code, and you can drag and drop and literally have this product pull information from where you want in databases that you create on the fly. It's very easy. Once you do it, you can even copy and paste and replicate. So it really is a very powerful tool. And again, we wanted to be sensitive to the fact that we know that there's at least a certain amount of customers or service providers and or SMBs that they service that still have some questions about AI, the good, the bad, the ugly, if you will.
Right.
And I think we answered them with the way we developed our AI, the way we segmented it, and then the way we allow them to control it.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, one quick thing I would love to dig into too is, so we're talking about all these different channels, right? Omnichannel, and one of those channels is voice, right? If an agent is using, hey, they're picking up their phone, they're doing their, their call with the customer. What types of functionality is there in Helios that to sort of help them with that live call? I think that's more kind of the co-pilot we were talking a little bit earlier, assist.
Yeah. So from an AI perspective, Copilot would certainly help them. But before we even get to there, just from a simple communication integration, Helios is designed to layer on top of your existing unified communications platform. So what does that mean in layman's terms? You can have XYZ platform. I can throw a few names out here, whether it's a NetSapiens, whether it's a Portal One, whether it's an Alianza, whether it's an Asterix, and there's a bunch of companies that use Asterix as sort of an underlying. It layers and integrates with those. So that's already fundamentally done. So call control is already built into Helios for those phone systems. So if you already own a phone system like that, you don't have to buy a whole new phone system.
Right.
You can simply purchase Helios and layer it on top, which is great. Now, if you want to go deeper, we have a mobility product that we tie into your SIP trunking and your API, which now gives you the mobility as well as a deeper integration and richer integration for beyond call control. Now you can get even more information, Mike, like CDR data. So who's doing what, in your platform. So again, a lot of the big tech guys, right? A lot of the bigger omni-channel and contact center companies, they want you to do a heavy lift. They're basically saying, I'm sorry, you got to start all over,
Yep.
And while we have our own plan, and at the end of this episode, maybe we'll have time to talk about what's coming. So I love announcements, but there's a reality that there's so much already out there that why would I do that when I can just integrate this product in? There's a factor that this is more affordable than doing a heavy lift. The amount of training required for Helios is for most CSRs and agents, once it's deployed by the IT manager in their company or whatnot, or the office manager, it's a few hours.
Yeah.
Because it's not a heavy lift. They're still using the same phone that's on their desk. They're still using the same auto attendant.
Yeah.
We haven't changed any of that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of retraining, if any.
There's not a lot of retraining.
There's no retraining. It's more of like layered on top, as you said.
So what ends up happening is you have a faster go-to-market, lower cost. It's more palatable for the small business owner. They don't get heartburn when you tell them what it's going to cost, and they actually enjoy having this product because, again, now everything's on one screen, one pane of glass. Everything. Yeah. Your voice, your email, your text messaging, including campaigns. So everything, your WhatsApp, your Telegram, your Facebook Messenger, all on one screen. This is really empowering. And not only is that information coming on your screen, but then it's archived with your CRM and it stays there. So when you come back to that same person a month later or 3 months later, you can pick up right where you left off. So it's very empowering, but again, it doesn't have that heaviness of a contact center, although it does quite a bit of what a contact center does. We just didn't feel that SMBs needed to necessarily have that heavy cost and heavy load.
Yeah.
And again, who wants to forklift everything all the time?
Right.
Yeah, the SMBs that I've talked to really like when they hear of, I won't say names of those other like big contact centers, but you're right. It's like it's like a box truck at least, right, or a Mack truck versus the car. They really don't need it at all. They need a certain percentage of it, pieces of it. It's what I'll call foundational things. And what's interesting is sure they had those products have a lot of features, but they're almost like over bloated with features. Whereas I feel like with Helios, it was kind of a fresh look because it's like, okay, this has the foundational elements that somebody would need for a small business or an MSP. And it also has like newer tech and innovative stuff too, like that workflow builder you're talking about, right? So
yeah,
I think it's like win-win. You're getting newer tech, lower cost, less of a lift in all ways, right? Training, everything else, right? So there's just a huge benefit for your target market. You're not targeting everybody. You're targeting a specific market. I think it's the right market.
Again, we like to stay in our lane. Do I think this product could scale up? I do.
Right.
But again, we know where our lane is. We know what we do really well. We've got the feedback now, so we now understand that our mission is to help the SMB. And again, when I say SMB, a medium-sized business for Helios can be certainly 500 to 1,000 seats. I want to be very clear. I'm not talking about only up to like 40 or 50 here.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of seats for a lot of businesses in Main Street America that are being forgotten, right?
Right.
So that's the audience that we talk to. Now, ironically, that's 90+% of all businesses in America.
It's a very high percent. And it's funny about, like these smaller businesses, they're making money, they're doing well. But I've talked to some of these owners and like, even think about Gong, right? Gong is an amazing enterprise product. It's really, really good. But I talked to them and they're like, it was just too much. We couldn't do Gong, you know what I mean? And so there's such a market for products that can do like 70% of what Gong isn't all that hard, right? But there are products, you could build a product that did 70% of that really well and had some innovative stuff that Gong, folks there at whatever company, I don't know if it actually is Gong that produces it, but they wouldn't be able to move fast enough to keep up with those particular things. Well, nor might they even want to do that, right? A lot of times these big Goliaths or behemoths, they actually don't want to do that particular thing or service that particular market. So a lot of times this stuff will be like wide open. It just like your customer, as in your target customer, won't be their target customer in a lot of these cases, right?
I would suggest that a lot of our customers that have 25, maybe 45 seat opportunities where they're going to put our product on top of it, for example, that's just too small for some of these larger contact centers. Right. The economics of it, when you add in what it costs to train, what it costs to get it onboarded, I'm not saying they won't do it, but it's just extremely heavy and probably disinteresting to that vendor. Whereas for us, that's our sweet spot. Give us that all day long. And the other thing that I think people have to remember is contact centers, if we're going to talk about them, have high churn.
Mm-hmm.
It's real high. Like I think it's 35%. Every like so many days, 35% go through, which means there's a cost to train that new agent on a heavy contact center to the tune of probably 10 grand.
Right.
Okay. Because you figure it takes months to get them up to speed. So let's
for
call
sure.
it. Okay. Well, if Helios can be taught in a few hours, you can see where just the economics of that churn and replace, even that just makes business sense. But again, in the small business model, I don't think people want to be treated like a call center agent. They want to be empowered to help customers. They want to do engagement as a service. And so that's really our core focus when it comes to Helios. So that's what makes it exciting. Now, Mike, obviously you've seen the product. There's some new things coming that I want to talk about as well, which is audio video is now native. It's built in.
Oh, wonderful.
So on the fly from chat, if the person wants to see the agent and talk and they want to communicate audio and or video on the fly, that's built in. That's in now.
Wow, that's cool.
On our next iteration, that will also allow, it's not today, but our next version, you'll be able to do the screen control, via the desktop device appliance control through that as well. We a lot of our customers said, hey, we love your CRM control, but can you make it more robust? We have now full blown CRM contact management, Mike.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So again, we listen to our customers, we get it implemented. And by the way, these cycles were weeks, not months and years. I mean, weeks. So we have a very strong development team that just focuses on Helios all day long. What was another one? Oh, activity tracking. For your sales and marketing departments. So you can actually have activity tracked in that. If you want to do marketing campaigns, we now have segmented lists. So now you can send out different campaigns, emails, SMS. By the way, we support group SMS.
Great.
Since I'm talking about SMS, we added, so we used to have Twilio, obviously, but now we've added Bandwidth and Telnix to our roster. Yep. Yeah. And there's more there'll be more coming.
Of course. Yep.
And of course we have our soft phone that I mentioned earlier, which is extremely rich, iOS, Android, and WebRTC, for application purposes. So, really, just in the last few months, we've really taken this product to where we felt the customers were looking for it to be. We're not getting as much asks for features anymore. Now it's like, this is
starting to get there.
This is it, guys. You really hit the, you kind of hit, we hit a triple maybe when we first launched it back in April.
Yeah.
But over the last 6 months, we've been able to really grab that customer sentiment, the surveying, listening to our service providers. And now we have a product that's really kind of come into its own. And it's pretty exciting. You start to see the uptick, I'm proud of my team. They've really done a fantastic job. Our partner, who's helped us with the development, has done a fantastic job as well. So I can't speak better of my team. Those guys are the rock stars. They're doing a great job.
I was gonna say, is it safe to say, Dave, that the adoption of AI by the employees and the team has allowed you guys to get all of this accomplished in such a short amount of time?
So there's no question that we've definitely embraced AI over the last 6 months more than probably the previous year. We still do some stuff, obviously, I'll call it traditionally, right? Some of the code development is still being done traditionally, but we've used AI to ratchet up testing. We've been using AI even just internally for things like some of the code development and so forth. My guys still like to sort of, I'll call it review.
You have to.
Correct.
Yes.
But where we're taking the product, we're embracing AI where it makes sense for us. And we're just having fun. So I think you can tell, like, there's we're embracing it where it makes sense. We're also drinking our own champagne here. Like, we're using Helios internally to do things internally and play around, but also use it for testing, evaluation, certainly. But we use it for our own tools. And I think you guys both know that I am also the co-founder of a communications marketing company. They started using it for web chat to help all of their website development, their website build. So they're starting to use it to help empower their customers who had not embraced web chat. And of course, once you do web chat, it's going to be logical that you're going to say, well, what else can I do with this? And we say, well, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram. I mean, you can start to see where this goes. And so it kind of snowballs into all these other opportunities of how you can do campaigning to a certain audience and then have them communicate in that ecosystem.
Right.
I think that's what's very empowering is if someone's in Facebook, don't ask them to leave Facebook and have to call you. Let them just communicate right there in their messenger. It's right there on the phone. Just press the button. They can start communicating, and you can start sending them information as well, which means now you can entice them with a promotion, a discount code, or if they need help, an actual human being's phone number if you want to engage from a live perspective. That's all. You're empowered to do all of that. And then you can use workflow managements to even address that after hours on what you want to have happen as well. So it starts to really allow the SMB to step up their game.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a bit, actually. It's actually pretty exciting when you think about it. Like, especially considering where this was, a year ago and where it is today. So yeah, it's exciting.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's very exciting. One thing that I will say is that as one of the consumers of that product, right? I notice how fast your cycle is for actually producing features and things that are tangible. It's pretty impressive, right? So I think they're doing it. I think your partner is doing like a fantastic job of, because it doesn't matter how big your team is, and it's really about the quality of like the managing that life cycle and everything. I think you guys are doing a great job at that. So that's just some of my feedback, right?
Yeah, and the feedback loop that we have with them as we're going around. So you have some developers and you have some project management on our side of the pond, and then you have developers on their side of the pond. But the feedback loop that we have it's daily. Just to be clear, like it is constant. It's reviewing, we're testing, we're evaluating, we're providing feedback. And so our roadmap now is mapped much more granular than it was a year ago. So again, we know what's coming in December. We know what's coming in January. So it's very exciting because it provides that direction. So when we have a service provider like you do, like you, Mike, or an SMB that needs to have some information, we're able to provide that. But I mean, this product, the way it's designed, it can be as light as the SMB wants or as heavy as they want it to be, right? They don't have to integrate to a CRM. They can integrate to a CRM.
Right.
They could lightly integrate to a CRM with just a few data points or a webhook. But they could also, Mike, just not, if they don't want to, they don't have to. Like they can just use it for someone to communicate during the day on a website, right? They can just offer that as a communication channel, or they want to bring email and just more traditional like SMS, texting, or RCS into that same screen, just so they can see everything easily. That's available for them too.
That's great.
So we don't have a demo. What we should probably do next time is do a demo of it on a show.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a great idea. And it's funny because that kind of leads into like what my next question was going to be, Dave, which is, and we don't have to show it, but can you tell the audience, like, with this workflow system, folks, it's extremely flexible, as Dave said. Have you seen any of your consumers of customers of the product of Helios do something? What's one of the coolest things you can actually share with us that they did? Like, hey, when it does this, it does this. Any cool stories that you would have that we could share?
Yeah, probably my director of the product would probably be the guy that could give you probably some of the
maybe we'll do that next time. Maybe we'll do that next time with the demo.
I mean, I've definitely seen some things triggered. Meaning through the flow, something gets triggered that creates a template or an application that gets delivered, so the customer can then complete that information, and then it can be acted upon in real time. But I'm sure that my team could provide you with some really cool stuff that's been done by some of the service providers or some of the end users of the product that I don't know.
This was that was a crapshoot, honestly. If you would know one of those. But yeah, I think that's a great next step, right? We'll have you guys back on and show off this product a little bit. And with that, Dave, is there anything else that you want to share with the group before we kind of round down here?
So not necessarily specific to AI, but early announcement is that another product will be coming from P2P Labs called Cosmos. And so just stay tuned.
I haven't even heard of this one. That's interesting. And all caps, right? And the O has to be highlighted, right? Yeah. Okay. All right.
We're following the same model as Helios, right? So yes.
That's outstanding.
Yes.
That's
so
awesome.
That's another product that will be launched probably within the next 2 to 4 weeks with a soft launch, and then January 2 hard launch. And you'll be seeing us at trade shows and so forth with Helios and Cosmos. So stay tuned for that as well. Yeah.
Always exciting to hear, what you have coming down the pipe, Dave, and love chatting with you as always. Anything else that, before we kind of round down the episode, or?
No, I think if anyone is interested in learning more about Helios, they can go to engagehelios.ai. Certainly I'm on your show. If they want, they can find me on LinkedIn, Dave George. And of course, you guys can share my LinkedIn.
We will.
QR.
We always do. Yep. Absolutely.
I'm always available to take calls, any questions. And I can certainly point people to the right people if they have a specific technical question. But just excited to be on the show. It's good to see you guys again. I always appreciate your newsletters. I would tell anyone that's watching this, definitely sign up for your newsletter. I read those things religiously. There's usually some pearls of wisdom that just help me kind of, understand what's going on. Rico, keep that good, bad, ugly kind of thing.
Good at this,
keep that tone in the newsletter. I enjoy reading some of the negative ones, just because sometimes I think it's humorous.
Yep.
To leave you with something that I thought was funny was I was talking to someone who told me that AI was told that it could not try to do CAPTCHA.
Right.
I'm not a robot.
Yep.
But it was smart enough to hire a human being via banking information.
Heard this.
Yeah,
and,
I did too.
and evidently the people then did the CAPTCHA, so AI figured a workaround that did not break the rules technically, because it didn't do CAPTCHA. It paid someone who was human to do CAPTCHA. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So
and who is the tool at that point, right?
Yes.
Right.
So, again, that's just a problem with understanding, the limits that you have to create for AI and the prompting and so forth. But I just thought that was a cute story. So keep those good, the good information and stories coming. And again, if anyone has any questions on Helios, would love to schedule a demo, get one in your hands, so to speak. And I think that's it. I think Helios. I think there's a lot of businesses that could benefit from this product.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and like we said, we'll be having you back on. I'd love to do that demo, right? We could kind of show people, because a lot of people are visual, right? They want to understand like, how does this actually work in practice? So we'll definitely do that. And again, Dave George with us, Green Star Marketing, also P2P, and that's Engage P2P, which is your technical, engagep2p.com, right? Which is your more technical support, and great company. And then you have is it Engage P2P Labs, or what's the other URL?
Yeah, so we have several URLs, right? So we have engagep2p.com is our technical company.
Yep.
We also have p2plabs.ai for P2P Labs. But for Helios, just go to engagehelios.ai, or more importantly, just reach out to myself. I will gladly take your call, take your email. It's dave.george@engagep2p.com. I will absolutely take the first call. I will get the right people, depending on what you're looking for, to get involved, to help you. If you're a service provider, we're here for you. That's what we do. We support service providers, whether you're an MSP, a CSP, ITSP, a LEC, doesn't matter. We want to help you.
Excellent. Well, Dave, thanks for joining us. Rico, you want to take us out?
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank you, Dave, again for your time. And of course, everybody listening, please take time and take a look at what Dave has going on there in Helios. And we'll see you next time.
All right. See you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.
See you back in the lab soon. Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's it for episode 17. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Stay connected with us on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn for all the latest updates. And check out antics.tv or our YouTube channel at Artificial Antics. We'll see you back in the lab soon. We want to give a huge shout out to Nick and the team at Nomad Studios for mastering the Artificial Antics podcasts. Want to level up your audio-visual game? www.nomadstudios.pro.